This week's episode is sponsored by Every Plate. We love Every Plate so much, and we even keep the recipe cards after we've cooked the meals that were sent to us because we want to make them again. That's how good they are.
New customers can enjoy this special offer of only $1.99 a meal. Go to everyplate.com/podcast and use code PRETEND199 to get started. Applied as discount on first box, limited time only.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Pretend Problems podcast. I'm Kelsey Cook.
And I'm Chad Dino's. I don't know why you're saying like that.
As it went kind of into like an Ian bag. I'm Kelsey Cook.
Holy Christ, guys. It's unbelievable what's going to happen here. I'm going to flip your tit. Bop, 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 bop.
He's so good. Go look him up if you are not familiar with Ian Bag.
Look him up, even if you are, and compare that impersonation I just did, because it's the only one that I do that's perfect.
It is really perfect. If you're watching on YouTube right now, God, you look nice. You have a nice shirt on. You went and got a haircut, and the guy did your beard perfectly.
Here's what happens. Wow. I walk around so shitty most of the time that if I even clip my fingernails, I could leave coke nails on both of my hands and you'd still be like, Jesus Christ, what happened? Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah, I had to get a suit for something that we're doing, and
yes, we can say.
Then I got a shirt with my suit, and when I went to try the suit on with the alterations, I went to get the same shirt that I bought to try it on to see what it would look like. It's a stretchy. I need a stretchy. Let me just tell you that right now, because I've got, if you've followed me over from the other podcast called Cookies and Cream Tits, and when I wear a button down, if I do anything, if my elbows bend in even a little bit, there is a side tit gap that happens in between two buttons. It pulls open. It pulls open like a flower blooming.
That's what I have.
Yeah, I believe it.
When I wear button downs.
You're supposed to. And so, but I found this stretchy shirt, and then I went over and saw they had different colors, and so I bought some different ones.
Oh my God.
And so anyways, now I have 3 button-up shirts that I can wear without wanting to jump off of a building.
And this is a surprise. I didn't even know that you had bought these. You just walked in and sat down, and I was like, excuse me?
Well, I thought I'd go no hoodie today.
Yeah.
I always wear the hoodie. But listen, the main reason I'm wearing this is because you have a thing that you do. Mm-hmm. May I?
Yeah.
Where you dress like you're going into an office, but it's at our house. That blows my mind. I'm going to tell you. It sounds kind of stupid to me. It sounds like, why would you get out of your PJs when we work at home? Mm-hmm. That's kind of why I decided to do this. Mm-hmm. And then I see how you're moving and shaking all the time. You're making it happen. You're very focused. And so I thought, I'm going to put a button down on and see if I can answer a question correctly today for the first time in 101 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, you look amazing. And let me be clear with the listeners, this, me dressing nicer at home is a very new development. I was queen of just slovenly outfits covered in cat hair from the morning I woke up to the moment I went to bed.
That is true.
Yes.
Am I the one that made a fake email account and forwarded this article to her? I don't know. Maybe. Because it's fucking insane sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. It feels a little restrictive. It's like in Major League. I know you've never seen it, but
I started to watch it.
Charlie Sheen. Here's what's crazy. To all the Gen X men listening right now, did you hear that? Have you seen Major League? Well, I started watching it. I remember that movie. You would have had to send in SWAT to get me to stop watching it. And you're just like, I'll shut it off.
We had something going on. We had watched a movie, and then it popped up as a thing to watch next, and I let it play, and then we had to do something. I liked it, though.
Good.
I'll finish it.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll see how this goes. Anyways, so in Major League, Charlie Sheen, he goes to one of those fancy restaurants to celebrate, and he has to wear a suit coat, but he rips the sleeves off of it because that's his thing. And he looks at Tom Berenger and he goes, God, I feel like a banker in this thing with no sleeves. It's awesome. But anyways, I do feel a little chody.
You shouldn't. You look amazing.
I feel like I'm waiting for my Rohypnol to be delivered.
Wow, the full name. You don't hear that very often.
Yeah, well, listen.
I like it. Yeah. Okay, I have two things to say. First of all, where you're like, I don't really get it. Why would you dress like that around the house? I got inspired by a girl I follow online. Her name's Alana Davison. I follow her on YouTube. And she did a whole like 30 days of feeling fabulous. What?
Just 30 days of feeling fabulous is from someone you follow on YouTube. Listen.
She's my favorite YouTuber.
I know. And you know that I this is something you and I don't agree with. Yeah. So if you don't want to start an argument, let me smile and keep on trucking.
Fine. Alana did a 30 days of feeling fabulous where she like looked up all of the research behind mentally what happens when you start to dress well every day, even if you don't have somewhere to go, even if you just work from home, like the positive impacts it has on your mood and your well-being and your confidence. And she just talked about like what a different person she felt like by the end of it. And so it made me want to start trying it. And I also was just out of place in, I feel like, comedy in life where I was like, I'm sick of just like looking just like sloppy. I just wanted to look and feel better. So anyway, that's why I started doing that. But then the reason Chad is talking about that he had to buy a suit is because on Wednesday, we're going to be in New York for the Cool Comedy Hot Cuisine event, which is a 40-year-long event that is a fundraiser for scleroderma research. And Bob Saget was a big champion of it, and he was a mentor of mine. And so I've been asked to perform at it this year. Yes. And I'm like so excited. It's like a black tie event. Like Chad had to buy a suit, I had to get a dress. There's like gonna be a red carpet, this whole thing. And so it's me, Nikki Glazer, Jim Gaffigan, Jeff Ross, and Hannibal Buress that are performing. And then Adam Duritz of the Counting Crows is getting an award. And Katie Couric's doing an auction. It's like, yeah, I'm excited.
Powerhouse event.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's good.
Yes. Okay. So that's what's going on with that. Should we talk about my customer service thing I had happen?
It's interesting. Yeah.
Okay. So I had to call, we're going to call it a hotel chain. We're not going to say which one. And the person who I got on customer service, his name was Adolf. Strike one. Then I said, hey, I would just like to add a stay I did recently to my account because I forgot to give the front desk my points or my member number. And he goes, well, if you didn't book through us specifically, if you booked through like Expedia, then you don't get those points. And I said, well, just so you know, every time I check into one of your hotels, regardless of where I've booked through, the front desk person asks me for my member number so they can put the points on it. Mm-hmm. And I've never been asked like where it's from. And he goes, oh, so you're telling me that you've been getting points sometimes when you didn't book through us? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, I mean, we're going to have to go back through then and remove some points. And
that's crazy.
It was, and this is all with a European accent, very Adolf. And I was proud of myself because I think in the past I would have been like, oh, well, I just was like, yeah, I don't think that's very fair. Like, I'm just being transparent with you that this is like how it works in the hotels. Mm-hmm. I don't think I should be punished for telling you that like this is what's been going on. And like, if you're telling me now that that's not how it works, I won't do that going forward. But like, he was just like such narc energy he wanted to like go back and remove them. I'm like, don't you have better things to do?
Like change your name? Yeah. That's so crazy that his name's Adolf.
Yeah.
I don't get, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So thought you'd be proud of me though for not getting pushed around.
Get your points?
No.
Okay. But you didn't lose your points?
No.
Well, that's nice. Have you checked?
No.
Okay.
Oh no. He seemed to be in agreement with me.
Okay.
That's nice. He was like, okay. But anyway. That's what's going on with me. What's going on with you?
Not a thing. You want to do trivia?
Oh, yeah. Okay. You don't want to talk about your home updates?
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I mean, and they're kind of just boring. It would be just me saying I did normal stuff and wanting praise.
Okay. Oh, God, Mia. All right. We are going to do trivia as always. This is from the game Mind the Gap. I read Gen X cards. Chad reads Millennial cards. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
What long-running cartoon first premiered on the Tracy Ullman Show in 1987?
Simpsons.
Wow, nice job.
What scary movie opened with Drew Barrymore making popcorn on the stove?
Scream.
Mm-hmm.
What is the name of the subgeneration that has characteristics of both Gen X and Millennials?
Is it Gillennials?
Exennials. I don't know. I'm probably not saying that right. Xenn.
I think it's Zennials.
Zennials. Okay.
Yeah, I think I've heard that before. What was the title of Frank McCourt's Pulitzer Prize winning memoir of his childhood in Ireland?
Angela's Ashes.
That is correct.
Huey Lewis had a hit song and a cameo in this blockbuster movie.
Back to the Future.
Nice, yes.
This band's biggest hits were Just a Girl and Don't Speak from their album Tragic Kingdom.
No doubt, baby.
Mm-hmm.
The 1970s, I don't know if people say SALT agreements or SALT agreements, were signed by Soviet and U.S. leaders. What did SALT mean?
I don't know. I'd think about it for an hour, but...
Strategic Arms Limitation Talks.
Think about it for an hour and still get it wrong. What British couple divorced on August 28th, 1996 after 15 years of marriage?
Was Princess Di still married when she died? I don't know.
Prince Charles and Princess Diana.
Okay. The best of the best were All That and...
A Bag of Chips.
Yes.
Complete this slogan. Silly Rabbit.
Tricks are for kids.
That is correct.
We flew through that.
This episode is brought to you by EveryPlate. Think you have to spend big bucks or tons of time in the kitchen to make delicious food at home? Guess again, nerd. You don't. When you use EveryPlate, you get restaurant-level deliciousness week after week after week after week. That's a full month. With recipes like crispy buffalo ranch chicken and cheesy Mexican street corn hash. That's queso if you're following along on Duolingo, brothers and sisters. This stuff is so good and it's so easy, and you just don't waste all the stuff. I'm telling you, I know I've said it before, I have kept spinach farmers in business for the last 7 years. You'll spend less on these flavor-packed homemade meals than you would on your normal groceries or at a restaurant, if you can believe it. Cooking the same things over and over? Well, up your dinner game in 30 minutes or less with EveryPlate's clear, easy-to-follow recipes. Thanks to EveryPlate's constantly rotating weekly recipes delivered right to your door, you will always have the best answer to, "Hey, what's for dinner?"
So my favorite recipe that we've ever made from there, it's this incredible chicken with roasted sweet potatoes and roasted carrots. And there's this creamy garlic sauce that goes over the top with fresh parsley. It is so good. It's so easy to make. And it's healthy. Like, I think so often Chad and I are home from the road and we'll be tired and we'll be like, ugh, like, do you want to just order pizza? And we'll sometimes reach for an unhealthy choice just because that's in our mind what is like the easy thing to do. But it's so nice to have these sort of recipes that are just, they like hit the spot. They make you feel so good and they're so delicious. So what are you waiting for? Dig into these flavor-packed meals that your household will love. New customers can enjoy this special offer of only $1.99 a meal. Go to everyplate.com/podcast and use code PRETEND199 to get started. Applied as discount on first box, limited time only. Now back to the show. All right, guys. By the way, I was in Cleveland this past weekend, and it was my favorite time that I've ever been there for shows. It was just like every crowd was so great. If you came to the shows, thank you so much. That club is just so fantastic. Shout out to Hilarities. And yeah, I just really appreciated you guys coming out. I will be in Seattle next weekend. And then in December, I'm in San Francisco and Charlotte, Greensboro, and Raleigh. And then I'll announce next year's dates soon. But you can get tickets at kelseycook.com.
Nice. To the people of the great Seattle area, I'm so sorry that I did not join you last weekend. Not going to get into the weeds too much here, but just I hope that you know that I would never leave you hanging if I didn't need to. I guess that's all that I'll say. So sorry about that. I love that area of the country. I love that city. I've only been to Tacoma. I guess I've been north of Seattle as well. But anyways, a real bummer that I couldn't come out. Sorry about all the confusion, and I hope to see you next time.
Okay, guys. So we're going to read questions. Remember, it's pretendproblemspodcast@gmail.com if you want to write in. Okay, this is titled Fucking on the Sleep Number Bed. And all it says is, ooh. Chad, talk slower. I'm close. From last episode. And then they also wrote in like right after that saying, I would also like to say my previous email was a joke just in case that didn't come across.
Nope, we got it.
I don't know if you want me to say your name, so I won't. But okay. This one is titled Burping Too Loud. P.S. We met at Hilarities. And I remember meeting you and you said that you were about to write me an email. So you say, hi, Chad and Kelsey. I saw you, Kelsey, at Hilarities, and you were amazing. I'm the girl with the husband wearing the Chip Chipperson podcast shirt. That's right. Yes. Thank you. So here's our household drama. My husband gets genuinely upset with me when I burp. Not because I burp, but because of how loud it is. He swears I can control it, like I've got some secret burp volume knob I'm refusing to use. He says I sound like a 12-year-old boy showing off or a 19-year-old guy at a college frat party. Meanwhile, I'm just trying not to explode internally. I swear I can't make them quieter. And here's the best part. We bought the sign you were selling that says, not mad, just disappointed. And now my husband literally holds it up every time I burp. It's become a whole bit at this point. So please tell me, am I actually gross or is he just being dramatic? I love you both so much. Tiffany, thank you. I mean, this is hard because like we're not able to hear it. But if you are not like pushing the burps and you're not like doing them with your mouth open, then it's like you gotta burp. A burp's a burp. But if you are like projecting and you're keeping your mouth open and it's like a whole thing, I would probably be like, hey, like, can you make that any more polite, any less barbaric? But I don't know. If you think you can't make them quieter, then that's just who you are.
I'm going to go with, if it's only happening in your home, I have a couple things. Mm-hmm. Your husband is being kind of dramatic because it's like in your house, you should be able to do what you want in your house.
Right.
Also, I think you're full of shit. I think that there are times in your life where you know a loud burp is going to be unacceptable and you can puff your cheeks out, get ready for it's like a stunt man that knows how they're supposed to brace themselves for a hit. I think it's kind of the same thing with this because I can burp very loudly and I can also rein it in when I'm not supposed to burp very loudly. And if it is only happening in your house, then I ask you, what are you drinking at your house? Are you in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory in the fizzy lift machine? Why are you only burping that loud at your house and not in public? That leads me to call bullshit.
Interesting.
But if for some reason every single burp is a sneak attack, then I guess you got to do what you got to do. But I've just never, ever seen that. I've always seen it where it's like, and also if your husband is going to say like, oh, you're like a 12-year-old boy or a 19-year-old boy at a frat party, then fucking double down and do the alphabet while you're burping. You do something crazy. Say I love you during the burp. I love you. Then what's he going to do? Complain about being loved? I don't know. Got some options here.
Have some of Chad's chili. See what happens. Get everything involved. Yeah, you can write back in if you'd like to specify further, but if not, we hope that that was a sufficient answer. Okay, so this is titled Afterlife Dinner / Nosy Family. Hi, Chad and Kelsey. My name is Nick. I'm 28 from a small town just north of San Antonio. Saw Kelsey in San Antonio in late May and Chad in Austin in September. Loved both shows. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. I know this isn't a pretend problem, but your conversation about the afterlife got me thinking about what an afterlife could be. While I personally don't believe in an afterlife, I've always liked the idea that most of the time your soul is just nothing, like sleeping without dreaming. But when a new person dies, they get to invite certain people to a dinner party thing, and all these deceased people get to meet for a night before going back to their nothingness. I really like that idea that you get to see people that you never met, like my grandfather who passed away in January 97, and my middle name was his first name, or people you haven't seen in a very long time, like all my other grandparents. While I don't believe in it, it's a very nice thing to think about. Now on to my somewhat pretend problem. I'm sorry if this has been answered before, but my older stepbrother and stepsister are both married with kids, and my younger brother is in a long-term relationship while I'm single. While I'm on dating apps, I'm fine by myself too. How do I stop my parents, all four of them, mom, dad, stepmom, stepdad, from asking about my dating life every time I see them? I get that it's probably because I'm the only one of their children that's single, but I've told them I'm fine by myself. It's getting to the point where it's really getting on my nerves. Best wishes. P.S. I haven't paid for the Patreon, sadly, so if you could read this on the main pod, that would be much appreciated. P.P.S. Just attach some pictures to prove I was at y'all's shows. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I mean, this has to be something that many people listening have dealt with and can also share your frustration. I'm sure your parents are coming from a well-meaning place where they have these ideas of what they think will make you the happiest. But if you are truly fine by yourself, maybe you do need to have a bigger conversation with them instead of just kind of being like, oh, I'm good, I'm fine, or whatever. Like actually saying, hey, I know you probably have good intentions, but this is starting to really bother me. And I don't know if it hurts your feelings or just makes you angry, but really letting them know how it's making you feel, I would imagine is kind of missing from what's currently been going on. Yeah. Some people don't even take that though. They still think they know what's best for you. Maybe give them an answer that they don't want to hear again. Maybe something like, what do I need to date for? My neighbor has a dog. I just fuck that thing at the dinner table. That's probably going to get them to stop asking, because then you can just keep doubling down on those kinds of answers until they realize that every time they ask, they are going to get such an uncomfortable answer that then they know, I don't want this as a consequence, so I'm not going to take that action. Yeah. Something to think about. Also, love the idea of your afterlife. I would hope so much that there is something like that. And I'll tell you this, even if it's your body is done, your heart stops beating, but your brain still has some electric pulses, and you get to have that last moment of just whatever your thing is, that sounds awesome to me too. But I watched The Good Place. My daughter and I have seen this thing maybe 6 times all the way through total now. Wow. That the idea of their afterlife is insane and so awesome. So if you haven't seen it, I would recommend binging it if you're looking for something to watch. But it just got some really cool ideas in there. But yeah, man, who knows? And also, don't really fuck the neighbor's dog. What's the book that I just started reading that you finished?
The Secret of Secrets. The Secret of Secrets?
The Secret of Secrets.
The newest Dan Brown novel.
Yeah, I'm only a chapter in, but that also is dealing with consciousness and what happens after you die, and it is interesting. It's interesting.
Oh man, there's a whole bunch of shit. I can't. It's just scratching the surface with that stuff so far.
Well, I'm very, very excited to keep reading it. Okay. This next one is titled Detroit Fan Again. They say, "Hi, Kelsey and Chad. I just finished listening to Jurassic Park Inception and was wondering if you know the source of the poem Kelsey referenced about grief. It really moved me, and I would like to share it with a friend who at 30 years old was just diagnosed with breast cancer." I'm so sorry to your friend. I think that it and your advice about it being okay to not be okay will resonate with her. I'm struggling with finding ways to support her as she is such a strong and independent person. Any advice on how to support this young mother/wife/nurse as she navigates her health crisis? In the past, you have offered great advice about managing anticipatory grief, and I think you both are great at giving advice. Hilarious after Chad just said to tell somebody that they fucked their neighbor's dog.
I do think that's great advice.
It is great advice. I just think it's funny. I look forward to the new podcast each Wednesday, and it never disappoints. Although I am a Detroiter, I will be at Chad's show in Washington, D.C. as it coincides with a trip I will be on.
Whoa, see you there.
Yes. Kelsey, it's my goal to see you somewhere in 2026, even if I must travel. I'm anxiously awaiting the 2026, I think you meant 6, tour dates for both of you. Thanks for doing what you do. Keep us laughing. Love, Marissa. Marissa, thank you. First of all, the quote I referenced is by Fortessa Latifi. I hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, I
have a question. If your name is Fortessa Latifi, I mean, do you have to have grace for people that don't get it right?
I would imagine so.
Right.
Yeah. I always am afraid to look dumb on the podcast. Like even the card where it's like, I don't know if people say salt or SALT. I hate those moments where I'm like, I probably look
Try not being able to read Gnocchi. Now. Now is spelled GNOW. Now. I just think that you had, like, if someone came up to me and said, "Hey, Chade," I'd be like, try harder.
Yeah.
But that's a lot.
Chade.
So I think you should be able to do.
Yeah. Thanks.
I think it's a good effort. Plus, you're throwing out the poem.
Yeah, that's such a good one. In terms of advice on supporting her, I feel like a lot of people, when they're in a crisis, I feel like I see this more and more of people being like, "Don't ask how I'm doing," which is kind of interesting to me because I am somebody who likes to be asked how they're doing. Like, if you were in a health crisis, do you feel like you'd be somebody who wanted to be asked like, "Hey, how are you doing right now?" Or would you prefer somebody who's more just like, "Hey," or like, instead of like, "What can I do for you?" Somebody who's just like, "Hey, I'm going to show up with some soup and I'm going to do this." Like, what would you prefer?
I think I like the just do it because then it's there.
Yeah.
And at that point, you can't say like, "I don't want your fucking soup," because it's there. But if somebody says, "Hey, I'm thinking about bringing you soup," you can go, "No, thanks. I got it covered." But when it's there, it's still that, because you don't like being a burden. I don't think anyone, when they're having health stuff, they don't want to be a burden. That's like one of my biggest regrets is when my mom had breast cancer. I would say, "Hey, I'll come by and we can, play cribbage during your appointments or whatever," when she was getting chemo. And she'd be like, "No, God, no, don't. I'm in and out. You don't need to do it." And I wish I would have just said, "Fuck that, I'm going anyways." And I didn't. And that so I think just doing it, not asking is a good way, because she's not going to kick me out of chemo. She'd at least sit and talk to me. So I wish I would have been there to support her more. But then my mom also taught me this. It's like, when in this kind of situation, I think you should go, how would I want that person to support me? What would I want from them? And then just do that. Just mirror what you would want. And that's always seemed to work. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, all you can do is try to show up and be there for her. And if the way you do it ends up being a way that she actually prefers is a different way, then like, hopefully you guys are close enough that she would tell you that. But I think any sort of effort that you can show that you care and you're thinking about her is appreciated. I just had a best friend go through a really horrific thing, and I mean, I'll have to ask her at some point if like she liked this or if it stressed her out, but I would send her a text every day being like, there's zero need to respond to this. I just want you to know that like I'm thinking of you and that you're loved and I'm here for you. Because I don't live close enough, you know, she's like another state away. It's not a thing where I can go bring soup to the door sort of a thing. But like when you're saying show up the way that you like to be show up, you would like people to show up for you. When I feel thought of, that makes me feel really nice. And I just think my way of showing that too is through like letting people know like I am thinking of you. Because like sometimes if you're going through a hard thing and people aren't reaching out, it can feel like, oh, what, even if they are thinking of you, sometimes when people don't show it, you of course can take it as like, oh, I'm not being thought of. Mm-hmm. So I hope that's helpful. But okay, guys, we're going to do one more. And I know that grief has been talked about a lot lately, but you guys keep writing in about it. And so I feel like it's okay if we do keep talking about it because it sounds like it's really important to a lot of you, which makes me feel happy that this is a place that you can come for that. But so this is titled For the Grievers. They say, "Hi, Kelsey and Chad. To start on a light note, I'm a big fan of the Middle of Somewhere and Pretend Problems podcast. I'm a 34-year-old woman that was fangirl crushing real hard on Chad, because who wouldn't, when all of a sudden he started talking about his new girlfriend on Middle of Somewhere, and then it was announced you two were a couple. Despite being in a serious long-term relationship, my heart was crushed. Then I listened to Kelsey's comedy, and I decided to forgive you both." Thank you. "I love PPP and I love your love for each other and your honesty and vulnerability with the fans. Please don't stop what you're doing. Now to the tough stuff. Kelsey, since first hearing about your mom's condition, I've wanted to reach out to offer some love to you and your family, but I didn't know what to say. I just finished episode 100 and I just want to give you and everyone that's written in about grief a great big hug and share my experience. Hopefully it can help you and the listeners. The situations are entirely different, but I can relate to what you're going through in many ways. My dad passed in 2021 after living with a terminal brain tumor for 20 years. Jeez. Oh, God. He far surpassed his original prognosis, which my family was extremely grateful for, but it wasn't always easy. The torture that you can put yourself through trying to imagine what life will be like without them can be difficult to explain to those that have never been through it. People expect the grieving process to start at the death of your loved one, but the seed is planted at the diagnosis and begins to flourish when you start to see the person you love gradually changing. I was lucky to be a caretaker for my dad, along with my mom, at the end of his life, and it's something I wouldn't give up, despite how difficult it was at times. My dad and I were able to connect in ways we hadn't been able to for years, and the bond I have with my mom is now stronger than ever. I had spent most of my life preparing myself for his death, so I thought I was prepared when we saw the first signs of his decline. I was not ready. You can prepare as much as you want, and if it helps you deal with the tough times you have now, do it, but you won't be ready. Grief is a monster that I was not ready for. My usual ways of coping didn't work anymore, and I was overcome with a weight I never knew. And I've had depression a good portion of my life, LOL. I've always been a little crystal witchy myself, but I've also always been afraid of being too open about it because of what others might think. I decided to lean into my crystals, signs from my dad like dragonflies, the sunshine and when it was raining, etc., oracle cards, and reach out to the universe in other ways. I was able to lean into things that had always made sense to me about life and death and get some comfort from them. I know those things aren't for everyone, but they worked for me. For the grievers, at whatever stage you're in, turn to your family and friends, talk about your loved one, talk to your loved one, admit that things are shitty when they are, say it out loud if you need to, ask for help even if it feels super uncomfortable, find that spiritual connection that works for you and lean in. Don't fight the grief, let it come over you and cry, yell, scream, or whatever you feel you need to do to let it out. Embrace the love you have for them and the pain their loss creates, and then let it go. It'll come back, maybe in a few minutes, maybe in a few days, but eventually it'll come even less frequently. It won't stop entirely, but it'll be less and less frequent and more manageable, and you'll be able to look back on your memories with a smile that your loved one will be happy to see on your face again. Sending everyone as much love as I can. Rihanna, sorry. Everyone always apologizes for how long their email is, and I always think to myself that it's not that long. I get it now because this feels long. I hope it's not, but I appreciate you reading it, even if it's just yourself, and I hope it helps even just a little. Rihanna, this is such a nice and just like well put email. Like your ability to put your feelings into words is really incredible. And so thank you for saying such hard things in such a way that people can relate to. I like 20 years. I've been doing this with my mom for 5 years now. And that has, is similarly where like they gave my mom 6 weeks to live. And now it's been 5 years and she's still going. And I don't know what your dad's original prognosis was, but 20 years is like such a long time to live in the anticipatory grief phase. And I read your email, as I was going through them, and actually talked about it on the phone with Chad over the weekend. I was just having like a hard mom moment, and your email really like spoke to me in a deep way, because I do think I've been living in this way of like, when you know that this is a terminal illness, you think that you've been like logging grief miles for 5 years, and that it will maybe translate to like when that time actually comes, that you'll somehow be more prepared because it won't have been something you didn't see coming necessarily. And the fact that you're like, no, like that is what you thought too, and it was not the case for you. It's, I think it's important that I read this email just for myself to kind of like remove that expectation, so that if the way I feel is the way you feel, which I am sure it will be, where it's like like way, way worse than I thought, then maybe it won't be such a shock in that way. But yeah, thank you for writing in.
Yeah, terminal diagnosis is interesting because, and I don't want to go super dark here, but we all have a terminal illness. It's being a human being with a lifespan, right? And so, well, we're all dying. It is true, but we'd never think of it like that. And thank goodness, because it would be fucking insane.
Yeah.
But then when someone tells you like, okay, well, this person is going to, now we have a timeline, right? Then it becomes this real thing. Like if you make it into your, I don't even know, what would it be, 80s? I think at this point as humans, you make it into the 80s and people are like, a life well lived. And then, you get something, a terminal diagnosis when you're younger, and then all of a sudden it's fucking heartbreaking, and it's unfair because you go like, why isn't this the 80s? Why isn't this person going to get to the 80s? So I always think that's interesting that like we all are dying, but it's not thought of like that. And thank goodness. And this has nothing to do with you. It's just a thought that popped up. I'm just going to say something that I don't normally say, but anyways, I kid about, like I have a ton of jokes about my dad. And sometimes when Kelsey's talking about her mom, and I say, God, I don't know how you do this. I can't imagine, which is true because I don't think anyone in my life has had dementia. My grandma, they thought it was that, but it turned out to be a traumatic brain injury and all this shit. But as far as like this diagnosis, so I'm basically talking to people like who have had a parent take off. It is a little similar because you go, you have this rinse and repeat process of this is it. okay, this is it now. And then hey, want to get lunch? And you go, all right, a little bit of hope. And then they split again and you go, oh, fuck, okay, this is it. And so with that whole thing of having hope and having it taken away, and this the grieving process, I think is kind of similar. The way you describe it, I think it's similar too. You talk about waiting to get hit by a train that never comes, and then eventually it does, and it's like that was kind of how I felt too. So the reason I'm saying this is because I'm still going to make jokes, but I think that someone who has someone in their life with a terminal diagnosis, you don't only have to talk to people that have been through that specific thing. You can also talk, like, do you know someone who didn't have a good relationship with their parent or anything like that? Because there are similarities there. So you don't have to seek out somebody that has been through exactly what you've gone through. And I think that's sometimes what we do. We go, well, you didn't have this, and this, so there's no chance you'll understand. I think a lot of situations have similarities, and I think people are understanding for the most part, unless you want to take SNAP away from children. Then don't talk to them, because empathy isn't their thing. But so anyways, I only brought that up to let everybody know, like, you can talk to so many people about so many things, and there are going to be little understandings. You don't have to find this perfect confidant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Grief and loss are so universal, and you're right. It's like, even if it doesn't have to do specifically with disease and illness, yeah, I mean, like, I've told you a million times, but like, I can't imagine the emotions surrounding your dad and like him not being in your life, and like, that is such a, yeah, I'll never know.
Sure. But you've gone through stuff in your life that's, I'm sure there are similarities.
Yeah. But yeah. Well, thanks for saying all that. And yeah, again, thank you for writing in. What a sweet email, and just thinking of you, and thank you for telling us what's going on with you.
My therapist would hate this, but I just want to say that was not a woe is me situation. I really am trying to just make the point that there are more people to talk to about your stuff than you think. That's all.
Nobody would.
I know. I had to say it. It was bothering me, so I wanted to say it out loud.
Okay.
Dr. Joe right now just fucking flinched a little bit, probably. But I still had to.
Okay. So we are going to record the questions Patreon that is the makeup from last month. We're recording that right now, so it will be out this week. Should be out same day as this new main episode is dropping. So we're gonna go do the questions episode, and then we will be on track, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you for writing in.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, bye.